The only thing Democrats have, because they're not running on their policy, they're running on Trump's a bad guy and we're going to get radical DAs to prosecute bogus crimes and then lie about foreign interference. That's their platform. I mean, get lost. We got to wake up. We're not going to have a country. Tony Katz, host of nationally syndicated Tony Katz Today and Eat, Drink, Smoke radio show, and Joe Pags, host of the Joe Pags Show. Joe Pags himself. Joe, how is this a 50-50 proposition in America at this point?
I don't think it is. I mean, honestly, I don't think it is. By the way, a masterful monologue. Get that to me. I'll spread it on my socials as well.
Thanks, sir.
You said everything exactly right. I wanted to respond to everything you were showing, but your response was spot on. In fact, coming on today, I knew I was going to say, how would Joy Reid respond if I said, let's get rid of all the black Muslim females? I think you only left off the word female when you said it.
My bad.
And you and I did not collude to get it out there. Could you imagine the outrage that she would see if you dared say something like that? Carl, the thing that I've never really been able to come to terms with on the left, and nobody even looking me right in the eye who says they're on the left will give me an answer to this. What's wrong with white Christian men? Can somebody tell me how that became a pejorative in this country when the country was founded by white Christian men or deists? They all believed in God. They all believed in Western culture would be better served by having Judeo-Christian values. You don't have to be Jewish. You don't have to be Christian, but you have to follow the value system that seems to work for all of us. She somehow has convinced herself, and maybe her small audience, that somehow that's bad to believe you shouldn't kill, you shouldn't steal, that were based on the Ten Commandments and Magna Carta. But man, there was so much there.
Right.
They are so deluded. The one thing that gets me, and I'll shut up, is this. They want us to believe that all this time, for 3.5 years, they had no clue that this guy was gone until the debate. Holy crap, the debate happened. Joe Biden must really be gone.
Yeah.
Carl, they're all embarrassed because they took up for this guy for so long, and now they're forced to admit it.
Yeah, and Tony, speaking of this, they're doing nothing that matters, that helps anybody. The people around him are barely able to keep the gaffes away. But today, Joe Biden was talking to union leaders and just randomly grabs the mic and starts rambling about DEI, and the cover-up ensued in real time. Roll this.
I promised I was going to have a cabinet that looked like America. And it does. More minorities, more women, more labor. I'm serious. Think about it. That's who we are. That's why we're strong. We're diverse. We're strong. We've got to stop looking at it like it's a problem. It's an asset. It's an
Oops, don't cover that, Tony.
Yeah, it's always really reassuring to the American people when you cut off the microphone of the president of the United States. The reason that Joy Reid utilizes the term white Christian nationalist, the reason you hear it so often is because it actually fits the Marxist ideology. If there is nothing but oppressed and oppressor, well, then you have to create the larger scale for who the oppressor is so you know who the oppressed is. And therefore white, therefore Christian, therefore male, all fits within their oppressor dialogue in philosophy, which is the Marxist philosophy. But we got to get into the George Clooney conversation. I don't want to rush it, Carl. I don't want to jump ahead of this thing because I am exhausted already by the people who want to claim that George Clooney is some kind of hero for speaking truth to power about the fact that Joe Biden can't go. Go with the timeline, guys. It was June 16th when they did this fundraiser, this $30 million fundraiser, when George Clooney and everybody else there knew that Joe Biden was the guy who was going to be on the debate stage 12 days later or 10 days later. Right. And then he still waited weeks before he said something to America with his platform. George Clooney is no hero. George Clooney didn't care about America at all to stand up and say, wait a second, this isn't going to work. Only when it was safe to do did George Clooney do it. George Clooney didn't stand up when women, actresses, were being harassed and sexually abused by Harvey Weinstein. And it's now we see that this is a pattern of cowardice. This is a pattern of Hollywood. This is really, truly the evil at play here, that if we're going to argue that it's country before party, as people who despise Donald Trump have been saying to Republicans and conservatives for years, well, here they are. Not putting country before party, or not putting party or before country, not putting country before party. I said it right the first time. I almost went Joe Biden right there. It's despicable, it's ugly, and it's obscene. Do not somehow give laudatory praise to George Clooney. What a despicable thing to wait this long.
And I want to give you each 30 more seconds on this. This is from a guy, George Clooney, who is against the walls but lives behind a gated community at his own house.
Of course. You know, what's interesting about the whole thing, I'm glad you brought George Clooney up. He is not backing away from Biden because of Biden's bad debate strategy. He's backing away from Biden because Biden in the White House came out against an organization that his wife is involved in. George Clooney is mad at Joe. Joe, I'm mad at you. So now he's going to pull his support out. He knew damn well that Obama had to drag Biden off that stage that night because Biden froze. He knew damn well before that Biden was not capable of doing the job, but he would support it because he would be somehow involved in the cabal that's running the place. He's mad at Joe because he came out against an organization that his wife is involved in. That's it.
Right. But Tony, at the same time, I mean, we see this every single time. Now they're trying to do like an NBC report or an NBC interview that's supposed to like save this whole thing, but also like Joe, like should anybody be surprised? Joe Biden's the guy who had a cancer foundation that $0 was spent on actual cancer rehabilitation or research.
Yeah, no one should be surprised that everything, Barack Obama famously said, never underestimate Joe Biden's ability to blank it up. And that's the truth. But we keep having this conversation improperly all across. I know you guys have it, Joe, on your show, and certainly, Carl, with what you're doing. This isn't about whether or not Joe Biden is the nominee. He can't be president today. The country is unsafe with Joe Biden in office today. And if we cared about the country, we'd actually do something about it, Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah, 25th Amendment is a duty, not an option. Tony Katz, Joe Pags, always a pleasure.